Pawel Jankiewicz, born in 1982, is a writer from Poland. He finished law school in Lodz with a thesis on art scandals and their normative entanglements, and his literary project keeps the commitments between the official and the unofficial. For well over a decade, it is sustained by precarious job, from bars to London to warehouses of Berlin. Politically, he's very active. In 2021, he publishes, in collaboration with Eurobox, a new poetry collection entitled In My Solitude. We are glad to interview him personally today. He's here connected with us for Conoscere TV. Hi, Pawel, it's so good to see you. How are you?
Hi, Ginevra. Very well. Good to see you.
Please tell us something around your new book. What is In My Solitude about?
Well, I'm starting with the title. It's as a tune that Billie Holiday sings, and picking up on this vibration, I wanted to kind of integrate my thoughts from the time of this pandemic isolation and the certain vast area of time I was able to mobilize. And My Solitude is an attempt to articulate certain figurations of thoughts that I would love to pick up on further on. So they are kind of like strategic placements of my thinking, but introduced in this poetic way. So In My Solitude finally opens up with this dedication for those who can speak for the future, and this is this kind of statement that opens up certain possibilities of my thinking. And the main concept I advance here, it's just really a para-concept, as I call it, is the indistinct, which is a sort of a theoretical and poetical joke about this English word, which when someone who's not a native speaker, I'm from Poland, I see the word indistinct broken in the two parts, which is in, which is a negation, and distinct. Well, but if you overread in this clumsy immigrant way the in as a negation, you see the interiority. So I think the indistinct, so something elusive and escaping you, and finally something you carry on chasing, as something which is not so much blurred. Sometimes it is quite the opposite. It's distinct inside. And In My Solitude is a certain way to grapple with the concept too. But not only that, it's the decade of my writing finally, and picking up certain moments which I thought significant and having potential to kind of propel my writing in the future.
Okay, Pawel, so what's your inspiration in general when you write poetry?
The city, I would say that's the main inspiration. The urban environment is very much the source of what I just mentioned. This idea of the indistinct is something I first discovered as this feeling of the anonymous urban space. I lived 8 years in London, and this city and the very relation towards London, it's not only my case, I guess, it's sort of love and hate relationship. Simply London becomes a theme park these days because it's just too expensive, and progressively kind of voids living possibilities in the center. It's kind of a Disneyland of embassies, shops, like political offices, landmarks. Mainly, you have all those gherkins, Big Bens, red telephone booths and stuff. And I thought London begins exciting for me when I just leave the center and go to the peripheries, even if there are inner peripheries, some kind of like forgotten spaces in the center, which give me this sense that it could be just any city, Oh my God, it could be, it could be an Asian city or, Sao Paulo, it could be European continental, metropolis like Berlin, where I live at the moment. And this feeling of a loss has this extra bonus. It provides a sense of surprise. Since I don't know where I am, it's London, maybe it's already Manchester, I don't know. Then surprise is just around the corner. So being in the anonymous rather than a landmarkish environment provides the sense of surprise and something which awaits you, the event that might happen. So this is the main inspiration, and I'm committed flaneur, and I walk the city, and also, of course, I relate to certain tradition, European tradition of, psychogeography advanced by the situationists, to the extent that, I try to rephrase the notion of psychogeography as a psychogeo worker, because, being a precarious worker, I thought also being a precarious work allows you to explore spaces with great ease sometimes, because you can change jobs really fast and you don't develop certain attachments or fears. You can just like serve the town, like just hiring yourself.
It's always very interesting to enter the head of a poet, of an author. What are the main themes that readers will find in your book?
First, I hope they will find a certain unified voice, because there's a certain diversity of forms I propose to the reader. At the same time, I try with the variety of poetic form, sometimes it looks like a prose, still retain a certain style. So I'm a stylist insofar as it is important for me how it vibrates, how it also gets in tune with this experience I just mentioned of certain anonymous being at a loss, like in this labyrinthine space, but excited with which awaits you just around the corner. So this unified voice, which is my voice, but filtered to the neutral of the literature.
Okay, Paula, listen, one last question. Why should readers buy your book and read your book?
Well, my favorite writers actually, in a way, they don't sell anything. Like Samuel Beckett. It's hard to say that, Beckett sells you happy days, because very often, Waiting for Godot or his drama is it's a painful experience sometimes to go through, but he does it with such dedication and such seriousness, and he puts his whole life at stake to articulate what he thinks is vital, that it's definitely of value to engage with Beckett. And I hope that, since I do this psychogeo worker thing for quite a while, and I try to kind of invent also a certain existential style that accompanies my writing. I hope that those who are sharing the situation, for example, are in the cracks of being, for whatever reason, because of a certain displacement due to the pandemic or the economical strain they experienced, they can find a certain means or proposition to transform this experience into something which is beautiful, interesting, compelling. It's a device to valorize whatever comes, So I hope this, I don't know if it's a success. This is
It will. I'm sure it will.
the judge. But it's an attempt, and I encourage everyone who is in this very particular position, which is maybe difficult, to also try to transform this experience and open it up towards certain creative possibilities.
Thank you very much, Pawel. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and we wish you very good luck with your book.
Thank you so much.
In My Solitude, the new Pawel Jankiewicz poetry collection is now available in bookstores and digital platforms, a publication by Eurobooks.